Racism is real, but race is not. Cultural differences exist, as do disparities caused by inequities in education, environment, housing, opportunity, and healthcare. But no DNA test can really tell you what imagined race you belong to, only what general area on the map your ancestors migrated from. As Vivian Chu of Harvard University wrote in 2019, in the biological and social sciences, the consensus is clear. Race is a social construct, not a biological attribute. It boggles my mind that we've squandered so much on perceived racial difference. What if we had never fallen prey to racism and prejudice in the first place? Can you imagine what more Martin Luther King Jr. might have achieved if he hadn't felt an urgent need to battle racism? Obviously, he accomplished a great deal. But what might he have done if his civil rights work was unnecessary because blacks were not disadvantaged and targeted? What more might he have been able to achieve in the area of poverty had he not been killed? Would his life have been cut short in the absence of racism? What about Harriet Tubman or Frederick Douglass? What might they have accomplished? What might James Baldwin have written about? What might Angela Davis have done? If we are to finally put this woeful history behind us, we must talk about it with honesty and authenticity. Open our mental doors and air out the musty cupboards of our prejudice. Lift the rocks and send the creepy crawlies of racism scrambling. As Baldwin wrote, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Most of us are about as eager to change as we were to be born, and go through our changes in a similar state of shock. If you want to learn about racism, you can. If your goal is to become educated so that you understand the history of segregation, the causes of inequity in the criminal justice system, and the exact meaning of the term white privilege, there are many thoughtful and enlightening books that will help you achieve that aim. I strongly support that kind of research, but this is not one of those books. This is also not a book that will teach you how to have the kind of ineffectual discussion of race that so many of us have had. Too often, when people say they want to talk about race, they mean they want to talk with someone who holds mostly the same opinions they do, or if they're willing to speak to someone who disagrees, it's because they hope to change their mind, rather than to learn something. That's all right. We are, after all, human. We don't like changing our minds or being told we're wrong. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology revealed that both those who considered themselves politically conservative and those who identified as liberal were equally averse to hearing opposing viewpoints. And a meta-analysis of 51 different studies on the Social Science Research Network, an online repository of scholarly research in the social sciences and humanities, showed that, regardless of political party or affiliation, everyone is equally susceptible to confirmation bias when it comes to politics. That is, we're all as likely to discount the information that proves us wrong and give extra weight to the evidence that bolsters our existing views. Every time we hear something that confirms our opinions, our brains get a little boost of dopamine. Dopamine is sometimes called the addiction hormone. It's the same neurotransmitter activated when you take certain drugs or pull the arm on a slot machine. You see the problem, right? You might enter a conversation with someone you think is racist, hoping to enlighten them and open their eyes, while they are equally determined to convince you they're not racist at all, that you're wrong and not seeing the issue clearly. No one wins in these conversations, and no progress is made by reinforcing the opinions of a racist. Even worse is the kind of shouted exchange that occurs between anti-racist activists and counter-protesters screaming at them from the other side of the street. As the psychologists Craig Foster and Stephen Samuels wrote in The Skeptical Inquirer, yelling at white supremacists seems unlikely to make them less racist. Indeed, it might do more harm than good. Plus, the conflict between white supremacists and protesters might serve to invigorate the white supremacist community. It gives them a sense of purpose. Together they stand,